Hello friends, Tanya here with a video featuring the Spellbinders, Susan's Holiday Flora, and the Holiday Medley collections. I have 4 die sets here that are from the Susan's Floral collection, and there's a bunch of them in this collection. And I'm jumping right into creating some poinsettias with the Poinsettia die set. I have cut these out according to the guidance on the dies. I believe the die says to cut 2 of the larger and 1 of the smaller petal groupings. And I have added some green ink to the centers because if you've seen white poinsettia flowers, they all have a green tint in the middle. I'm using the wonderful Susan's Garden toolkit with this loop tool in one end to curl and add striation to each of the petals. These are actually not petals, they are leaves. If you know much about poinsettias, you already know that. I'm also taking my reverse tweezers that have a very pointy tip, and I am adding a little fold in the middle of each petal. And I don't have the pan pastels that Susan Tierney-Cockburn has and uses in her demonstration videos all the time. I did order them because she gets such beautiful effects with them. I did try with my ink brush there, but it didn't really do what I needed it to do. So I'm going to skip that. I am taking each of those creases and using the medium ball point on, or ball stylus on the other end of my tool here from the toolkit to tip the ends of those petals back and give them more dimension. These flowers take some effort, but they are so worth it in the long run. I'm also using that same ball stylus, medium ball stylus, to get them to curl up from the center. And all you have to do is push down into the foam mat that comes in the Susan's Garden toolkit. I will have all of this linked in the description box below, as always. So if you are interested in any of these items, you can easily click and get those. I do appreciate it if you do that. It does help me continue to make these videos. And I think if you enjoy the 3D effect of these paper flowers, you will not regret getting any of the Susan's Garden die sets. I am using 4 of those die sets today. I'm using the Woodland Wreath and the, which has a wreath die, like a grapevine wreath, and a couple of birds. And I'm also using the Winterberry and Mistletoe and the Winter Branches, I believe it's called. I will again have those all listed in the description box below because I am not very good at the names of the die sets. I just know that I love them. I am using the Barely Art Precision Glue to take these 2 layers of poinsettia that I die cut with green. They are the same die as the one I use for the white layers here. And I'm adding just a dot in each layer, or in the center of each layer, and then pressing that down into the flower. I am alternating those so that they create a nice full flower. And I'm going to use that medium ball stylus to push down in the center again and to get that cupped. There are some individual petals or leaves included in this die set, and these are they're called the bracts. I would equate these to stamens in another style of flower. Susan Tierney-Cockburn does a good job of explaining all of this on her demonstration videos. She's very knowledgeable about plants and flowers, and it's really interesting to watch her videos. She's very slow and methodical and soothing in her tone. I'm not always like that. I tend to be a high energy person. I don't know if that comes through on my videos or not. I am intentionally trying to speak more slowly on my videos for you. And I did use the Nouveau Crystal Drops in Olive Branch, I believe it was, to add some green centers. I didn't have any green of this. It's like a paper powder. It's called pollen. And it does add the fuzziness like you would have on stamens in flowers. So I thought I would try doing the pollen on these and do the crystal drops and see which I liked better. There are 3 dyes that create the brack for the middle of these poinsettias. There's a large star-shaped one, and I'm going to use the smallest of the ball stylus here to cup that, and I'll just add some glue to the center of it and put it in the inside of our poinsettia here. And you can see I did a red one. I did several of these, and I didn't have exact plans for any of them. I just wanted to have a bunch of flowers created and leaves and branches and wreaths, so that when it's time for me to create a card, I can just quickly grab and start creating. Sometimes it's just nice to create the flowers and have them ready for other inspiration. So I took the smaller of the star-shaped bracts and I added that to the center of the larger one, and then the long funny piece with 3 little pieces up, you roll around your tweezer and that creates your center. So we've got the pollen version and the Nouveau crystal drop version, and you can tell for yourself which one you like better. Next, I'm taking some of the branch and leaf dyes from, and I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of it, but again, it'll be linked in the description box below. And if you go back to the beginning of the video, I've got the graphic that shows you. And I had cut these from various green colored cardstocks. I do like to use solid colored cardstocks to do a lot of this so that it shortens my prep time. That way it's already green. I can add just a smidge of color with my blending brush here. I can do a whole branch in just a couple seconds. And then for this one, I did take a Copic marker and colored each side of the branch with that. I'm also going to take this die that creates a beautiful up to slimline sized filigree design, and we're going to carefully glue this together to make it a shorter version. We're going to make a 5x7 card here. So this ends up measuring about, I think, about 6.5 inches. And that'll frame nicely on this piece of cardstock, which I have cut to, I think it's 4x7 inches. And we're going to lay that down on this piece of cardstock, which is a very light gray. I added some little dots of Barely Art Precision Glue all over the back of it. And I didn't torture you by showing you all of that. And then I carefully pressed that to the cardstock to get it to be well adhered. We don't want any of those little filigrees sticking up. This is a 5x7 card base that I took and added an additional crease because we're going to make a card that stands up, a card front that stands up. I'm going to add glue to just the bottom half of this panel, and I'll make sure that I only have glue on the lower part of this card front below that crease line, so that when you are done with the card and you want to display it, you can just pop it up and it will stand up and show you your beautiful card front. I'm also taking a piece of that same gray cardstock and adding a couple of layers of scrap white cardstock to give it a little extra height for that card front to catch on the lip of. And I had already marked a line on the inside of the card on each side so that I could have a nice even application of that band of cardstock. And this Glimmer hot foiled sentiment that I die cut with the coordinating die that comes with that die set, or that hot foil set. And there is the moving mechanism. Super simple, doesn't require any special tools. And now I'm taking some things to add to the card. I had this Glimmer hot foiled sentiment, which again, that Glimmer set will be in the description box below. And I'm using this wonderful die set from Becca Feakin. Both the lacy filigree and this square with the flattened edges are from her collections. I had to get that. It's from last fall, but I really, really love it, and I will probably use it for a really long time. It nicely fits right inside of that filigreed frame that we created. And now I'm going to take these wreaths. I cut one in green and one in brown and layered those down on the card front. And I'm going to start adding all of these pieces that I've created to make a beautiful Christmas wreath. I have some mistletoe here, and I actually pulled out the Japonica and created a couple of little white flowers and some of their coordinating leaves. I've got that leaves and branch, and I'm tucking that over the top of some mistletoe. You can see that I've laid out my intended pattern or my intended layout across the card, and I'm carefully adding each of these pieces. I say carefully, but it's really not. I'm kind of rough with all of this. They are really pretty tough. They will handle being messed with and being touched and felt, and you don't have to worry about the recipient destroying the card accidentally. I have a whole bowl full of these little berries that come with the Winterberry and Mistletoe die set. It does cut this cardstock piece that you can add Nouveau crystal drops to. I did put them on both sides of each of those pieces of cardstock, and I did some in green and some in gold and some white and some red, actually a couple different colors of red. I did make a smaller poinsettia by using just the smaller layer of the petals, the 5-petal dies, and I'm using some of these extra leaves that were individual leaves that you can die cut. And now I've got some of the, did I call the other one mistletoe? This one's mistletoe. The other one is holly. I'm just adding some dimension to these leaves by folding them over my tweezer. These are small enough. I'm not going to use the ball stylus to tip the ends of the leaves back. I'm going to tuck that in behind the poinsettia, and I'm going to add some of them, not mistletoe, this is holly, or winterberry. Must be winterberry, which apparently is related to holly. I am glad that she knows so much about the plants and that she's teaching us, and we are getting to create all of these beautiful flowers with her die sets. I cannot tell you how rewarding it is to complete a card like this, and I'm telling you, I'm just going to be petting this card for a little while. It's a good thing it's well before Christmas so that I will be able to give this to someone, because I'll be done petting it by the time Christmas comes around, and I'll probably have a few more made. I'm tucking in some more of these berries. I did choose to do some of the white berries to add to that. We're just about done. I'm just going to add a couple more single leaves to the larger poinsettia to add some fullness and balance to this bouquet or wreath. Here you can see a bowl just plump full of greenery that I've created. I went through my scrap bin and I pulled out a bunch of greens and die cut a whole bunch of different styles of greenery and did the inking and the shaping, and I have just this giant stash that I'm going to be able to create lots and lots of projects with. I think that is a great way to spend a few hours of your day. Maybe you have a weekend that you have some time to just spend to yourself, and you want to put on a movie or a show or listen to a podcast or watch some crafty videos. Or maybe you're going to sit and do this while you talk with family or friends and just want to keep your hands busy. This is a great way to pass some time, and it's so pretty, even just sitting in the bowl on your desk. Here is my finished card, including the inside of the card. I just love this. It is a wonderful card to give to someone very special in your life. It's not one I would really be confident in mailing in a standard or in an envelope because it's going to get squished. So it's a great one to hand deliver or put in a box of gifts. Here are some close-up images of this card. Let me know what you think. Did you enjoy this video? Did you think you wanted the Susan's Holiday Flora before, but really want them now? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you check that description box for the items that I used. And if you aren't subscribed, now would be a great time. Until next time, bye-bye.